welcome to White Line Fever Live. And you know what the people on YouTube do. They point at the bottom of the screen and they say like and subscribe. And if you're listening on the podcast, welcome back. And coming to us from, I don't know, sunny California, middle of the afternoon there, from Babylon AD, Derek Davis. Derek, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Good, man. Great.
Yeah. Now, the reason we're talking is you've got an album on the way. You've got one single out already. It's called Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, which is keeping in, it's in on message with the name of the band, Babylon AD. When I was a little kid, my dad used to use that expression all the time, but he used to say Rome wasn't built in the day. So I grew up thinking Rome was built at night, that they came out and built it at night. He mangled the expression. But obviously the vibe is, you're doing a lot of press and everything. So there's a lot of excitement around the record.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, you haven't had this much attention in a while.
Do you think there's the environment at the moment is sort of conducive to that there's people do want sort of straight ahead hard rock again?
Yeah, I do. I kind of feel that there's a resurgence taking place. There's a lot of bands that have albums that are coming out this year that I know of. And it's been pretty cool. Like for about the last year or so, it just seems like there's a groundswell of just more and more people getting back into the hard rock thing. I think there was a long enough layoff of nothing really happening, and everybody like yourself and me, and there's millions of us, man. You know what I mean? We just I kind of think it was kind of put on the back burner for a while. Now there's just an energy, in the air for hard rock.
I really liked the last album, Desolation Highway, and I was surprised. I was doing a bit of research just then that you said it was a little bit rushed, which I thought was a fantastic, really, really strong record. But you've had some changes since then. You've changed record companies, and you've had a couple of lineup changes, right?
Yeah. We were on Frontiers Records, and that was fine and everything like that. But we wanted to go with the smaller boutique label, with Paris Records. I've known Tom, the president, for about 20 years, so it was very easy for us to just go with them. I think they're more. They fit us better because right now, and for probably the next 6 months or so, we're going to be 100% attention instead of Frontiers. It was like they got a lot of bands, man, and they throw you out kind of like spaghetti, and hopefully it sticks to the wall, and they just move on real quick. So you get about maybe 4 weeks worth of attention over there. With Paris, we'll get a lot more attention. And then as far as goes for the band members, Rob, our bass player, got injured in an accident. He can't play bass anymore. So we had to find a bass player. And Jamie, our drummer, who's been our drummer for like 30 years or whatever, was instrumental in getting the band off the ground with me and John Matthews. He just decided he didn't want to play anymore. He didn't want to play hard rock anymore. He's doing a whole different type of style of music right now. So
Duran cover band, is that him?
That's correct. Yeah,
He's gone to Vegas. Yeah.
That's right. He went to Vegas, and he's going to do the whole Vegas thing.
Yeah. Sorry. So that obviously, if it must have been a serious accident, if he can't play his instrument anymore. You're able to tell us about it? Or
he fell down a flight of stairs, and I guess it broke his back and somehow messed up his nervous system, where his hand is just kind of frozen, like, he can't really do it. So it's sad, but we wanted to keep playing, so we were going to stop.
Mate, obviously more seriously than both of those departures, Eric, that was
Eric.
You had a bereavement. I mean, that's a horrible thing to happen.
Yeah,
the last record.
Eric filled in for Rob for quite a while. Eric actually recorded American Blitzkrieg back with us about 20 years ago, and Eric is Jamie's Pacheco's brother, and Eric passed away also. So, we would have just popped right back in with Eric. You know what I mean? Like it was nothing. But Eric passed away, sadly. And so, we had to find a bass player and a drummer. Luckily, we found two guys that are excellent musicians that had been playing together already. So they came as a package. and we were going to audition a lot of different people, and they were the very first people that we auditioned. We told them to learn 3 or 4 songs. They learned about 6. And when we played the songs, me, Ron, and John, when we played the songs with the guys, it was just like, it was perfect. There was no mistakes. It sounded heavy. It sounded just like Babylon AD. So there was no sense looking for anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can you give us a sense of, you know, your personal kind of routine there in Bay Area there? You know, obviously, you know, Babylon AD, you know, is you got a lot of fans all over the world, but you're not Bon Jovi, you're not Aerosmith. So, you know, like how do you? I've been watching the Bon Jovi documentary. You probably have soon too. I've been watching.
Yeah, I haven't started that, but I want to. Yeah,
it's very, very good. It's very, very good. Very well done. But I mean, so you know, it's not a given after you do a recording tour that you're going to get straight back into it. You have to make a decision that you're going to continue and go back in the studio. So what happens between records for a band like yourselves, and how do you arrive at the decision to record another album and to go on tour again and to put your lives on hold, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, after the record came out, Revelation Highway came out, you know, we did some dates and things like that. We had a good time, and we were gonna get back on the horse and start making a new album. There's 3 songs on this album that we were demoing right after, like 2018, right after Revelation Highway came out, and we demoed. And I kept writing, and then of course, then COVID hit, and everything just kind of went to shit, man. In California, Gavin Newsom, our smart governor, kind of basically locked everything down. So I'd say for about a year and a half or whatever, we didn't play. We didn't do anything. You know, we talked on the phone every once in a while. What we should have did is just kept writing, but we really didn't. You know, I kind of did my own stuff. I recorded a couple different albums, stuff that I'd always wanted to do, and things that songs that I had. I did a blues album and a soul album. I kind of got that out of my system, you know. And then about a year and a half ago, we just started talking again, and it was like, you know, let's do another Babylon AD album. And Tom, of course, called me up and was talking to me and said, "Why don't you guys do another album?" And I said, you know, it's funny because by that time, by the last few years, I had written a bunch of songs that had that Babylon AD feel. So I was like, okay, that's not going to be too hard because I've already got some songs that are going to fill in, you know, with the other 3 songs that we demoed that were really good, that we thought, wow, this would be great on an album. So it wasn't too hard to, you know, get back on the horse and just start riding again, you know?
Welcome back. Second part of the interview with Derek from Babylon AD. I want to thank him for his time. And for the people listening on the podcast, welcome to a new episode. And it's the second part of our interview with Derek from Babylon AD. Derek, the one I mentioned earlier, we were watching the Bon Jovi documentary, and Doc McGee says that life's more fun before the zeros, and he's talking about the zeros on the end of your pay, and that things go a bit crazy. Now it sounds to me like Babylon AD still have a lot of fun. It's maybe, I'm not going to comment on how many zeros you got, but you know, doing some research, you know, even today, you know, you guys are leading the charge after the show with the beers and everything still, and it sounds like it's not business to you guys. It's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a great fun, man. I mean, I always say it's like the best hobby you could ever have. You know what I mean? It's not like a full-time job where you got to get up and go do something you hate to do. It's just like, man, it's kind of like probably pro golfers that are used to be pro and now they just go with their buddies. You know what I mean? Or basketball players that are, you know, in their 40s or something. They can't play anymore, but they have pickup games, you know, 4 times a week. No, it's massive amounts of fun and mayhem, man. We just, you know, we're still the same guys as we always were, man. I mean, we still party and hang out sometimes a little bit too much. You know, I don't think we've aged in that department at all. You know,
your voice is still very distinctive. I know people must tell you that all the time. And I guess some people must ask you how you managed to do it. Is there something you do deliberately to preserve it? Obviously, not stay off the booze or go to bed early. But what else?
To be honest with you, man, I don't do anything. I don't warm up even when we practice or before we play a gig. I don't do squat. The only thing I do usually is you know, have some whiskey up on stage. you know, and that's it. And maybe sometimes if I think my voice is a little bit too clean when I'm recording, I'll also have a shot of whiskey or something. It just kind of gives you a little bit of that Rod Stewart grit, you know, works for me. I know guys that spend tons of time warming up, if you know, they do all these exercises and all this crap. I don't know, man. I like the old blues singers and the old soul singers, man. They didn't warm up. They just went out there and you know, blasted it. And that's kind of the way I've always done it.
You mentioned a lot of bands of a certain vintage have got records coming out at the moment. Another one from the Bay Area who are almost at the exact same stage of their release schedule as you is Vane. You know, they've got a single out and they've got an album coming out.
I did hear that.
Yeah. Do you, I mean, which bands were you kind of close to way back when, and which are you still in touch with, or are you guys kind of been a bit sort of independent, like you've been lone scouts, you haven't really got too close to other bands?
Nah, not really. I mean, there was a lot of band. I mean, do you remember the band The Flame? Do you remember those guys at all?
Vaguely, and the name, I remember. Yeah.
They were very close friends of ours and stuff like that. We used to share the same studio and do gigs together and stuff like that. But not really too many other guys like you're talking about. Vane, like those guys are in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's about 45 minutes away from where we're at.
Yeah.
So we always knew who they were, and we played together a bunch of times and things like that. But we weren't really close. But the guys in The Flame, they were from the exact same area, went to the same high schools as we did, and all that stuff. So, and of course, bands like Y&T are the bands that we like were our heroes. You know, we wanted to be like those guys.
Yeah.
You know, when we were young. We still want to be like them.
I went to the what's that? The Fox Theater, and that's in Oakland, isn't it? We reopened, and the first band to play there when it reopened was Wolfmother, and I went that night. The Aussie band. I'm Australian, Wolfmother. But I remember hearing that in your when you were recording a video in Oakland, that a couple of guys were shot outside. So is Oakland? It's not that hairy anymore, is it?
It's still hairy, man. It's kind of it's like half and half. There's one half of Oakland that's really cool and really energetic, a lot of yuppies and stuff, and old houses up on the hill off of Highway 13. And then you got the stuff that's always been there. I mean, look, they don't even have a baseball team anymore. They don't have the Warriors anymore. They don't have the Raiders anymore. I mean, there's a few factors that go into that, right? You know what I mean?
Socioeconomic
teams that we grew up with are gone. You know, the city's for me, the city's a shell of what it used to be. You know,
is there still a rock scene there?
No, not at all. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, that's
dead as a doornail, man. There's not even I mean, now it's filled up with like these DJ guys that play that house music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the scene. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it leads me to the next question. When I heard Desolation Highway, I was like, it's like this. I don't hear any grunge influence. I don't hear any nu metal influence. I don't hear any kind of modern rock, compressed influence at all. It's like, and I saw there's in an interview, you don't listen, you never listen to any of that stuff. So that's why it's not in there. Is that right?
The only rock bands I listen to is like Montrose, UFO, Aerosmith, all stuff that I grew up with. I still listen to that. I don't listen, and I never have. You could tell me. Somebody asked me something about Hurricane the other day. I said, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I know I've heard of them. I don't know.
Kelly Hansen, he's in Foreigner now. He was a singer in Hurricane.
Yeah, right. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. The only reason I know of Slaughter is because they were in the same studio as we were when we were making our second album, and up all night, sleep all day, whatever was on the radio all the time in Los Angeles, and of course Warrant. I'm aware of that kind of stuff, but I it's just not my cup of tea, man. My cup of tea is Bobby Womack, James Brown, Al Green, Rod Stewart, Steven Tyler, that's where I come from. And for lyric wise stuff like that, I like Simon and Garfunkel, man. Bob Dylan. You know what I mean? I don't listen to anything that sounds like us. I'd probably be bored if I heard the same stuff that we're doing. It'd be too much. I heard the new Extreme album the other day. I thought it was really well produced. A couple good songs, you know what I mean, that I heard. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put it on my record player and play it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a listen to the benefit of living in that bubble with another song. What's the next what's the next song we can play?
Rome wasn't built in a day, the title track of the album. This is gonna be our second single and our second video.
And it's the chorus is so catchy. I mean,
I know, yeah, I hear that all the time, man. They're like, why didn't you put this out first? But what? No, man, we put this out second because Wrecking Machine's a great song.
yeah.
We needed to lead with a heavy rock track, you know, and then we'll come out with this one.
Welcome back. Third part of interview with Derek Davis, and from Babylon AD. Want to thank him for his time. And you know, we just heard the title track of the new album, Rome Wasn't Built in a Day. When you come up with a chorus like that, and you just know that if it was 1989, it'd be all over the radio, and you'd be flying around on a private jet. What is that bittersweet, or do you just kind of go, well, that's just I'm still proud of the song. I don't care how many people hear it, you know?
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head. It is kind of bittersweet because, you know, man, you know a good song when you hear it, you know, or I'll kind of feel a good song when I know it. Some songs will be a little bit of kind of a little harder to write than other ones, but the ones that write themselves, you know, they're the ones that you just know. And then you play it for enough people where, you know, let's say like when we're playing the demos, we'll play them for, you know, family members, close friends, people that have been involved with the band for years and get their feedback. Now, if you give it to 7 people all at the same time and you said, hit me back next week and let me know what you think, and all 7 people go, holy smokes, man, this song's a 10 or a 9, then you know you got something. Yeah. But you throw the same, let's say the same exact another song, and you give it to like 7 or 8 people, and you get like one person says it's a 10, another person says, oh man, don't put this on the album, this song's a turd. And then another person goes to the 5 or 6, and you're like, well, I guess that song's really not that good, huh? Because, you know, you got so many mixed type of things going on with it, you know?
Yeah.
So we always make sure that after we demo, we give it to a certain amount of people that we trust their opinions and kind of judge them all, man. If everybody is pretty much an 8 and up, you know, everyone that we give it to, then we know that's a good song. You know what I mean?
You're very democratic because that's the way you decide on your album covers as well, right? You give about 8 people a vote. But
no, that's just 5 people.
5 people. Okay.
I mean, the band members have what they like too. Like for instance, we like the song "Pain," the second song on the album, right?
Yeah. Real
heavy and slow, and you know, really. But when we sent that out to everybody, besides ourselves, to get the feedback, it was like, yeah, that's a kick-ass song, man. That's a good song. I think there was only 2 people that said, oh, this is a great song. But there was enough of them to go, that's a good song. Yeah, it should be on the album. But there was no like, wow factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was a wow factor on Wrecking Machine, a wow factor on Sometimes Love Is Hell, wow factor, big wow factor on the song called Face of God that we have on there. That was the one that was like a 10 all across the board. You know what I mean?
Was going to ask you about Face of God. I was going to mention there's a band in Sweden called Electric Boys. They put out a record last year. And they had a song called I Got a Feeling, and it was the same as that. It just was like it would have been all over radio 30 years ago. Just so
really
cool. Catchy. But Face of God, I've written it down, Face of God, because I saw you said that it was the song you were most proud of ever. Like, can you explain why you think is it just it's a good song, or does it mean something to you beyond? You know that, or why do you say that?
Well, one thing is, I think the lyrical content and everything like that, it's very, universal. I think everybody's looked in the mirror and asked themselves, you know, is there a God? Is there a God for me, or whatever? You know what I mean? Everybody's asked themselves, or is this it? You know, is there more? You know, or isn't there more to life? You know, and it's like a universal question. I think that song is asking. And to be the truth, man, to be truthful, I don't think that I would be even sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for my belief in my Savior Jesus Christ. I don't think I would have a shot, because when I was a kid, nobody made it out of here where we're from. You know what I mean? And I did a lot of praying, a lot of soul searching when I was young, and I still do. And things, for some reason, just happen good for me. You know what I mean? Uh, I write songs easy. Things come easy, like you were talking about my voice singing. It just happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. Because I would say that, like, regardless of what Babylon AD would sing about, whether it was a kid gone wild or it was about girls or whatever, you'd be regarded as a serious hard rock band, you know, not like not fluffy, you know. And
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, that medium between being muscular and still melodic. How do you, like, do you have a litmus test? Do you go, that's too soft, it's not us, or that's too heavy? Like, what is the test in your mind? How do you listen to a song and go, well, that's a Babylon AD song, or it's not, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm continuously writing all the time, you know, either with myself or with different outside writers. And I kind of know what sounds like a Babylon AD song. Although, like I said, we got that test where we actually had 20 songs to give to different people besides the band.
Yeah.
And a couple, we got one song that, man, I think it could be a smash hit. But you know, the funny thing was the testing that we did on the song, it was like, wow, this is a hit, but it's not Babylon AD. That's what we kept hearing. It's like, this is a hit song, man, but really it's not Babylon AD. So then here we are going like, how are we going to make it Babylon AD? Because it sounds like a damn hit song, but it's just a little too, like you said, a little too fluffy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So no, it's anyway. I've only had one listen to the record. I really like it. Really like the last one. Definitely wish you luck with the tour, and hopefully, I heard we're going to see you over in over here in the UK. I don't think the people watching in Australia, that they're probably, it's going to be, it's tough to get down to Oz. You ever get close to getting down there or not?
Man, I'd love to. I'd love to. You know, it's all about the promoters contacting us or contacting our booking agent or whatever. You know, we've never been there, but I know a lot of bands that have. But you know, it's in this world, man. It's all who you know.
Yeah.
It's just, if you want a job, it's who you know 9 times out of 10. If you whatever, it's who you know, man. We don't really know anybody, you know, that's on the continent over there. You know, so
maybe we can help. Maybe we can help.
It sounds good, man. Set us up.